So I got a cartoon recommendation over on X. You guys can send me stuff on any of the social media platforms, but over on X is where I'm most active. So if you send it there, I'm most likely going to see it. And this was sent to me by Ramsey Bala Lopez. Again, I am anyone who's been a fan of mine knows I'm awful with names, but there's their profile. They did share this with me. It's called Port by the Sea, and it was a lot of fun. I do like this first kind of pilot episode. It lays out plenty of mystery. It lays out kind of the world and what the bigger implications of it are. Because if you look at it on the just from the episode itself, you're like, oh, okay, so there's this world. It's like a nautical type world, but then like the moon's been cracked. But they give you this little, actually, you know what? I'm going to post in the description down below. There should be a link to this, so you can check it out yourself. So go watch it first. And then when we come back, we can talk about it and then things will make more sense and you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. So go watch it. Okay, you're back. Yeah, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a little bit of like, oh wow, I kind of want to know what's going on with this world. I kind of want to see how far this goes and how deep it goes. I got the weird feeling that I'm like, oh, is this going to be like an adult show? See, I go into things completely blind. I don't go look up their creators and what have they done and who are the writers and who's the producer and who's the animator. I don't give, quite frankly, I do not care. I want the show itself to speak to me. I want the characters and the setting and the vibe to hit me, and then I will draw all my conclusions from that. People will look at something and then run to see who the creator is. Why does that matter? It shouldn't matter. The story itself should speak to you. So when I get these weird vibes of like, oh, is this going to be like weirdly adult? Because the animation style does not lend itself to like, oh, this is going to be a gore fest or anything like that. But there was like these little hints, but like none of it ever plays out. I'm thinking, will that come up later? But there's the jokes are pretty good. They're okay. They're not the best. But right out the gate, there's a joke at the very beginning, and I'm going to try to see if I can play the clip. But if not, then I'll just talk about it. He sees the monster. I think I see it. You think? It's this freaking Unagi-sized super beast, and you think you see it?
There! I think I see it!
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. So we meet our two main characters. Port is the boy, and Umi is the girl. They also have like a little pet, Jolly Roger. So that's gonna be like our team, and they're hunting a monster. It looks like she has like a magical compass that like leads her to monsters. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes. They're trying to catch it, and this Port guy, I'm getting hardcore Billy and Mandy vibes. Because this boy Port is kind of an idiot. but these monsters are the result of a cataclysm that happened with the moon. There's a little prequel, very Legend of Zelda, where it's like showing you the history of the world. There was this big evil. There was all these gods. One of them was evil. They trapped them in the moon, but now the moon shattered. So the evil's out. So the evil is probably infecting the world and making regular animals turn into monsters and things like that. So these two kids are hunting these monsters. Why are they doing it? Or was that a family thing? Did something happen with the moon and it's like they're fulfilling a prophecy? We don't know. So he's trying to hook this monster and he really can't. Like he just completely misses. Their boat gets thrashed. Like it's inoperable. It doesn't work anymore. It's been beached. So they have to go into town. This would make a really fun adventure game. Like a point and click where you go into a town, then you have to talk to all the residents to do like almost like a detective type work. And then you got to help people get items, one thing for another person and bounce around. It really felt like I want to play this. The show is fine. Like I don't mind the story being told to me through a television show, but this would be a pretty cool little adventure game. Like I would play that. These characters are fun. They got really fun character designs. So they're trying to go into town and look for someone if anyone can fix their boat. I love the vibe. The art, and there's a lot of good detail. Like look at the inside of this shop. Look how good that looks. I love that. That's when I was thinking, see this angle right here? If this was a point and click, I wanted to move my mouse around and click on all these things like, oh, examine, look, pick up, and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do that, like crazy wanted to do that. But they meet this like bird lady and they're trying to talk to her about like, oh, do you know anyone that can help us, fix our shop or fix our, a shop that can help fix our boat, excuse me. And of course, you get like the kind of cartoony, cutesy moments, but Port like wants to buy candy, and Umi's like, no, we don't need to be wasting our money on candy. But she's like, oh, come on, please, let me have candy. I'll be thinking about it all day. And of course, she relents. We see what we think is blood, like going. I thought it was really dark for blood, and this is when I got that feeling like, ugh, I don't know if I want this to be like secretly super adult, like, you know, heavy subject matter. But we find out later what that is all about. They're like, hey, the only person that could maybe even kind of fix your boat would be the inventor. He lives over up on the hill. You know, go talk to him. So you make your way over to the hill. When I say you, I'm talking about like this is a video game. I just felt that adventure game vibes like hardcore. So they get to the lighthouse and the guy's singing a song and he's super sad and depressed because after the what did they call it? It wasn't a cataclysm, but they called it something else. But that's when when the moon exploded. He said, "Oh, I lost my what was the name?" But I was like, "My little darling, you know, she's gone, and nothing's been the same. I can't create, I can't do anything." And Port's like, "Hey, what if we find it? What if we find your lost love, and or at least some information about where she went? Well, if you could do that for me, then I maybe I'll be able to help you out." Of course, Umi's like, no, what are you promising? Stop promising things. Like, we don't know if we can actually help this guy. But they're like, hey, we have no choice. We're kind of stranded here. Let's see if we can help this guy. They go along the beach. Like, maybe she washed up on the beach because there was like a bridge that busted and she disappeared. They're like, hey, there's a cave down here. Maybe she got swept into this cave. Then they're like, oh, no one could fit in there. And they're arguing about, like, could she even be in here? Our little Jolly Roger goes down there. And we see a bunch of like Morlocks. They call them imps, but they're freaking little Morlock kids. And there's candy down there. And we see more of that, like what we think was blood. And these little monster goblin children are trying to eat Jolly. They run out of there. They block the thing with the rock. They're like, whoa, hopefully she wasn't in there because if she was, she's probably dead. They go back to the shop and they're thinking, hey, there's candy down there. There's a bunch of those little things. That lady sold candy. Maybe she's like feeding people to these like little Morlock children. And they're going to go, Umi's like, let me do the talking, Port. Please don't say anything because I'm going to try to, you know, do the detective stuff. Port just starts accusing her of killing people and being a murderer.
Did you feed Bonnie to the imps? You ground her up into candy, didn't you?
And I'm like, oh my God, Port, shut the hell up. And he just goes on and on. He's like, what about this? And where did she go? What did you fed her to those monsters? And look at this blood down here. And then we find out it's not blood. It's like raspberry jam or something. And I guess she has like a grandson or something. He's like, oh, mama, oh, grandma, we finished repairing the jam and hope it sells well. Like, he's like one of those kind of guys. The grandma's like, oh, all those things you said to me, I can't even really process it because she wasn't like listening because Port was just digging into her about being a murderer. Umi's like, well, you know, we found this candy down there and all that stuff like that. It's like, is there anyone, you know, we could talk to that could maybe help us out? They go like on a little journey of talking to like 1,000 different people. And like, they talk to one shopkeeper and they do this gag where they keep alluding to her being dead, but like it's to something else. Like it's almost, it's a funny gag. It isn't the best, but it goes on for like 3 or 4 different places. Man, you were winding up in hell, but the hell's this dude's oven. That's what he calls it.
Death, lingering in all the latest shipments. But if I could give any headway about Bonnie, it would be
6 feet underground and I hit the pipe.
Then we're all gonna end up in this one place, and it's the graveyard. So like it just like each ending of the sentence leads into the next thing. It's a gag. It's good. I like it. They get to this graveyard, and I love the vibe of this graveyard. Very green, very spooky, haunted mansion-esque. There's this guy who's like, have everyone seen the horrific movie Oblivion? not the Tom Cruise one. There's like a sci-fi schlocky. It has like has-been actors in it where there's like this guy named Gaunt and he was like this, you know, he was like the gravekeeper guy. This guy reminds me of him. Like he's like the cartoon version of Gaunt. Go check out Oblivion. You'll laugh and laugh about how terrible this movie is. Anyways, back to this. He's like, no, she's not here. And he's like, I know everybody here. And he's going around collecting. You know how people leave things at graves, like teddy bears and flowers and like, oh, this was my grandpa's favorite, you know, drink and I left it there for him. He's like collecting all of it. For what reason? I don't know. Does he offer it to like some kind of god? Is he like Is he a mystical being of some kind? I don't know. We don't know. But he's basically saying she's not here because if she was, I would know. So they're like, dang, she's just not here. Umi's like, sorry, we can't bring back any information to the inventor. We're going to have to just fix her butt herself and just get out of here. Of course, Port doesn't like that because he couldn't solve the mystery. So he's like, ugh, whatever. She's trying to talk to like some salesman. He has a big egg. It looks like totally is a Yoshi egg. The serpent, I want to call it the Unagi. The Unagi shows back up. And then Port's like, wait a second. And we see it has like a little shine on its face. I'm thinking, what is that? I don't know, like some type of like, this is poisoning this creature. I thought it was the whole thorn in the lion's paw situation. And I don't like this one bit. I think this is really, it's too silly. It's too goofy. Jolly does a little dance. And he did it before to like cheer up Port. So she does the same. I don't know if Jolly's a boy or a girl. So I'm going to say she. She does a little dance again. And then the creature starts like vibing and dancing around with them. Like, oh, this is so much fun. That's really stupid. It's a little too stupid. But as the thing is vibing and dancing around, he uses his little hook, catches the little shard that was stuck in its head, pulls it out. It becomes a little blowfish. If you remember back to the painting, there was the wife, the inventor, and then he had like a little fish in a bowl. So this whole time he was missing his like, love of his life, whatever. It was this little fish. So they go and save it. They bring it back. Umi apologizes to Port about, hey, if it was up to me, we would have just left. But you stuck to it. You figured it out and you did a good job. So it's nice that she is able to acknowledge that, even though he's very, very irritating at times. She was like, hey, good job. They bring back the fish. He's like, oh my God, thank you so much. The wife comes downstairs. She's deaf. Well, I thought that was really sweet because they found her little like ear microphone thing. And I was like, hey, stay for dinner. So the least I can do. Then in the morning, I'll start rebuilding your ship. They have a really good dinner. They talk and they play music and dance and all the fun stuff. It's really, really fun. I love it. They have like a good family meal because these two, I don't know how many often they've had like a family. Like, what is their story? Are they orphans? Are they brother and sister? Did they just find each other and said, hey, let's work together? We don't know. That's stuff I want to find out. But it shows the rest of the town and they were able to help everyone and kind of we see those little Morlock kids. And it looks like the grandson of the candy maker was just feeding them candy. So that whole plot line gets like tied up like, oh, that's why there was candy down there because he was feeding them. We see the gravekeeper guy like look at the kids as they're sailing off, getting ready to leave. And they go and going to go on their next adventure. And that little shard was a piece of the moon. So that was causing the monsters or the creatures to turn into monsters. So I guess they're trying to find all the moon shards. I guess that's what that compass does. And end of the episode. What a fun little premise. The character designs are cute. The voice acting's good. Some of the animation is a little, a little choppy, but that can always be cleaned up pretty easily. Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. I would watch more episodes of this to see where it goes. I'd like to know how many episodes there is, because if it's going to be, is it going to lead to something bigger? I'm hoping. I do enjoy Monsters of the Week, but it needs to be building towards something. So collecting these shards, getting the moon put back together, finding out who this big bad guy is. Is this grave person, the guy running the graveyard, is he part of this somehow? He's way too, I'm going to say, fantastic of a character design not to do something with this guy. Like, something has to happen with this guy. So yeah, definitely go check this out. Leave comments on their video. I don't know if there's anything else like a Kickstarter or anything like that. But yeah, what a fun little episode. If you liked the Flapjack, the Misadventures of Flapjack, that game I just played, what was it? The Little Witch Machi, or what was her name? Where the little delivery girl did a review of that game. It has that feel to it. I love that nautical port city. There's water, there's fishermen, there's like the inventor and then the baker and the candy. And like, I love all that stuff. So the vibes are good. The character designs are fun, simple, but fun. And yeah, what a cool little premise. And look at these ending cards. Look how cool these things are. I love ending cards. I love title cards too. Not many cartoons do that anymore. But yeah, what a fun little show. Definitely go check it out. If I had to give this a number review, 8.5 out of 10. It impressed me, and I would highly recommend it to people who just want to see something indie and something different and its own thing. It's not based off something or a previous show and is trying to remake itself. nope, it's its own storyline and looks like it has it has sea legs. And yeah, I definitely would recommend it. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, you can contact us on any of the social media platforms in the description down below. And while you're here, be sure to click on one of the videos over on the right.